Namaskar friends, welcome to lecture 6 in our course on operations management. As you are well aware, in the first week we have already discussed about the basic fundamentals or basic philosophy of the subject, that is operations management. We have seen that what is the requirement of managing our operations. We have also seen that what are the objectives and functions of operations management. We have seen the operations strategy. So basically what is the use of studying this subject we have seen in our week 1. We have tried to understand that various companies are producing different types of goods. If you see the examples we have taken from laptop to maybe a hairpin, the degree of sophistication may vary, but the operations, the conversion of raw material into the final product will remain same. So the basic principle, that is, we have to add some value to a material or to a service in order to make it important or in order to make it useful for the customers, is the basic fundamental behind any value addition process or behind any process or service. You may see in hospital we have different types of services. In a car making industry we have different types of operations that are done. So there is a service sector, there is a manufacturing sector, and in both the operations have to be managed properly. So basically we have to see that if we are focusing on the manufacturing sector, then what we should produce or what we must produce. What means the product? We have to focus on the product. If our product is niche, if our product has got an innovation, it will definitely capture the market. If the product is an improved version of an existing product, definitely the product is going to be successful in the market if there is a need for that product. So once we know that how we have to manage our operations, what are the various strategies to manage the operations, we have to start from stage 1 of operations. That is, we need to understand that what we must make or what must our product be. If we are sure that what our product is going to be, what we are going to make, then the next stage is how much. So the first answer that every engineer has to look for is what the company should make. What should be the new product? What should be the improvised version of the existing product? So what? First answer has to be what. The second answer has to be how much. How much means once we know that we are entering into a very specific domain of the customers, our customers are not going to be a common man. For example, a company decides to start making aeroplanes or aircrafts. Every individual will not be buying an aircraft, only few selected companies will be buying the aircraft. Now depending upon the customer, the decision has to be made that how much should be our quantity of production. That is, we need to forecast that how much we have to make. So these are pre-planning decisions. Before we venture into full scale manufacturing or production, we have to decide these things, that what we are going to make, in how much quantity it will be required in the market, and finally we will go to the shop floor operations and try to manage those operations on the shop floor. Maybe the capacity planning, the time planning, the resources planning, the materials planning, all that will come at a subsequent stage. So in time, if we draw all these operations or all these activities or all these jobs, first thing will be every company has to take a decision that what they must produce. And these days there is lot of focus on innovation, lot of focus on creativity. Each and every company is looking for definite products, for important products which can capture the market and which is the need of the market, and they are focusing their attention on development of new products, in improving the life or improving the efficiency or improving the performance of their existing products. And that is the idea with which we have included the discussion on product design and development in our course on operations management. I think I have been able to address the point that why product design and development is an important process in the overall operations strategy of any organization, and therefore we are addressing this point at the very beginning of our discussion on product design and development, that is week 2. So that the learners may try to appreciate or may appreciate the importance of product design and development in today's scenario. And I must also address here that the product design plays a very vital, very important role in defining the overall success of an organization. For manufacturing the product, there may be standard processes, or we can say standard procedures, that may be adopted at a later stage, but what we are going to make and whether that product is required in the market or not, that is going to define or definitely define the success of the organization. And therefore product design and development becomes very important. So in this we have seen maybe just 1 minute review of what we have already discussed. We have already discussed the basics of operations management, we have seen the scope, functions, objectives of operations management, we have seen the different types of production systems, we have seen a fundamental of operations strategy. So our week 1 discussion is over only related to the introduction of the course on operations management. Now we are specifically focusing on individual domains of operations management, and the first important domain is the product that the company has to manufacture. And in product design and development, I must address here that this is a very wide subject. Product design and development is taught as a full-fledged course in many universities and institutes. So you can see that it can be a 42 lecture course in which different aspects of product design are covered in the class. I must also tell you here that we have already recorded or we have already run one course on product design and development under the MOOCs scheme in the last semester, and there was lot of interest, lot of enthusiasm among the learners regarding that course, and I am hopeful that the course may be rerun in the subsequent semesters. And if you feel that it is an important course, you definitely can get certified with that course. So in that course, that was a 10-hour course and there were 20 sessions of half an hour each. But in this overall course of operations management, we cannot we cannot give that much time to this particular topic. So here we have tried to include basic, you can say, tools that can be used or that are important from knowledge point of view for every engineer. So we are not going to cover the product design and development in totality, but we are definitely going to learn some important tools which a product designer must know or an operations manager must know during the course of his service, or during his, you can say, working. He must be acquainted with these tools or he must be aware of these tools. So we will be covering 5 different sessions in product design and development. The first session will focus today on the product life cycle. The second will be on value engineering, a very important tool for product designers. Then third will be design for X. We may cover design for manufacturing, design for assembly with specific examples. And then we will see the ergonomics of product design. And finally we will see, once our design is ready, how we can make a prototype quickly with the concept of rapid prototyping. So basically 5 important tools we will be discussing here. First important, we can say, information is related to the product life cycle. So our first session today will focus on product life cycle. I must say here that we have covered, I think, lot of introductory part in today's session. So I will be slightly, you can say, quick in the discussion part, may not go into the detail of each and every point that is there on the slide, but I will try to address the importance of product life cycle in the overall scenario of operations management. And for details, I think you can refer different books, literature, internet, YouTube. There are number of lectures or number of you can say videos, number of e-notes, number of e-books available in which you can find the discussion related to the product life cycle. So quickly we will start our discussion regarding the product life cycle. So product life cycle is the course that a product sales and profits take over its lifetime. So if we plot the product life cycle, on x-axis it will be time, as it is showing that the PLC depicts the course that the product sales. First thing is sales, another important point is profit. So we will see how the sales and profits will vary over a period of time, and that will represent our product life cycle. It shows the stages that the products go through from development to decline from the market. Now any product you take, maybe I may take the example of my pen. Now this particular pen may have been, we can say, manufactured using the raw materials. Since it is a plastic product, different plastic processing techniques may have been used to make this pen. So from conceptualization to prototyping to development or manufacturing of the product to the sales in the market and finally the decline of the sales, that will overall represent the product life cycle. So for example, the human beings also have a life cycle. Similarly, every product has got the life cycle. So the life cycle of the product is represented for the company in terms of the sales or the profits that the company make over a period of time. So we will see what are the various stages of the product life cycle. Before going to the stages, let us see that what is the importance or why an engineer should have an information related to the product life cycle. Now product life cycle determines the revenue earned because it is giving us the sales. Now once we know the volume of sales or the number of products sold, we can multiply it with the profit per product and very easily we can calculate the revenue earned from the product life cycle. So if we have a product life cycle for a product, we can determine the revenue earned. And this revenue earned is also important because once our earnings start to decline, we need to think that whether we should continue with the same product or we should come up with a improvised version of this product, or we should completely eliminate this product from our product segment and come up with a new product, completely new product. So that decisions have to be made based on the revenues earned. Similarly, product life cycle also contributes to the strategic marketing planning. Now strategic marketing planning depicts that once we know that this is going to be the product life cycle, we can make our planning accordingly. What type of plans do we need to make? Once the product is in the growth stage, we will see the different stages. I am just taking an example. Once the product is in the growth stage, we need to emphasize aggressive marketing, proactive marketing, so that more and more customers join our product segment or just join may buy our product or may join the people or the group of people who are using our product. So once the product is in the growth stage, maximum profits are derived from the market and our focus is on more and more aggressive marketing. Once the product is in the decline stage, we know that there are competitors in the market, the competitor's product is better than our product. We will see or we will say that we must not put too much money into marketing or advertisements because we know that our product is not able to compete with the competitor's product. Rather, we must put that money in research and development so that we can come up with a better product than the one we are already selling in the market. So the product life cycle gives us an idea that how we should manage our marketing efforts in order to derive maximum benefits out of the marketing efforts. Then the product life cycle also helps the companies to identify when a product needs support, redesign, withdrawal, etc. Now, since we know that this is going to be the product life cycle, or these are the sales, what is forecasted for the sales, like how the sales are going to vary over the next 6 months, over the next 1 year, we can take decisions like whether we should invest in redesigning the product, whether we focus on the withdrawal of the product from the market, as I have already highlighted in the previous point. So such type of decisions are taken based on the product life cycle. Also, it helps in planning for the new product development, which I have already highlighted, as well as it helps in forecasting and managing the cash flow. So we can see that if we have an understanding about the product life cycle, very easily we can take decisions which are beneficial to the organization, and therefore information related to product life cycle must be there with each and every engineer working for the organization. Now we will try to see the different phases of the product life cycle. On your screen you can see the product development is the first stage. We have to first develop the product using innovation, creativity, and then sketching it, conceptualizing it, and then making a prototype, and finally testing the prototype, and then seeing the in-service conditions of the product. Finally, we come up with a tested product, that this is the product which can now be launched into the market. So from the product development, once the product is ready, we come to the introduction or the launch stage. Then growth, the growth of the sales, the growth of the revenue, the growth of the profits that we are going to make from the product. Finally, there is a maturity stage in which the growth stops, the market share is maximum at the growth at the maturity stage, and once we spend some time, or the product spends some time in the maturity stage, there are competitive products in the market at this stage, and finally the sales start to decline, and similarly or consequently the profits also start to decline. So we will try to see this with the help of a diagram and try to understand that how the sales vary over a period of time and how the profits vary over a period of time. So here on your screen you can see the variation of sales and profits over the product's lifetime. So we see x-axis, as I have already explained, is time, and these are the sales and profits on the y-axis. So we see the profits are depicted by the blue line and the sales are depicted by the red line. So in the product development stage or the phase, we don't have any sales, because we are in the process of development, and the profits are also negative because we are spending money in research and development and prototyping and testing. So there is no profit at this stage. But once the product is launched in the market or it is introduced in the market, the sales start to increase as well as the profits also start to increase, and finally we reach a stage where the profits are in the positive segment or in the positive domain. So if we focus on individual variation from sales point of view, let us see from introduction stage the sales start to increase, but in the growth stage we see there is a steep increase in the sales, and finally at the maturity stage the sales become more or less stagnant, and then in the decline stage the sales start to decrease. And similarly, if you see the profits in the growth stage we see are increasing maximum at the maturity stage, and finally towards the decline stage the profits start to decrease. So this is the basic variation of sales over a period of time, and this type of diagram, number of such diagrams you will see which will depict the product life cycle over a period of time. Now we will try to understand the importance of each one of these stages very quickly, so that we are able, if we have a product life cycle for a product in front of us in the form of a figure or a data, we must be able to deduce some information which can help us to take our decisions regarding the success of an organization. So first stage is the product development stage. New ideas are there. If I must say that ideas, we can say develop number of ideas, because idea mortality rate is very high. We may generate 100 ideas, but only 2 may be culminating into, or 2 may be developing into a tangible product. So the importance of idea generation is very important. So we, in product development stage, we have to generate lot of ideas. Then we do the market survey, that whether the product is required in the market, can it be produced at a profit, because no company wants to make a product just for making a loss. Product development and refinement, test marketing, analysis of test marketing results, preparation of launch, publicity and marketing campaign. So in product development we can have other stages also, other technical stages also, but here we are just coming up with the basic idea that in product development what we do, we have some idea, we develop it into a tangible product, we see whether it is do the test marketing, we see whether it is going to be successful in the market or not, and then finally we plan that how to launch, in which part of the country we have to launch, in which way we have to launch, whether we have to go for television marketing or television advertisements, or we have to go in the print media. So all that is covered in the product development. Then the next stage is very important, that is the introduction or the launch stage. Now we have taken all decisions related to the product, we have a product with us, now the product is introduced in the market. Now introduction of the product in the market is done in this stage. It may be a new product or old product to the new market. Now old product to the new market, maybe we are selling ice cream of specific brand, maybe in one part of the country, so we are introducing it to the other part of the country. So it is an old product, but the market is new. In introduction stage, if you see, the sales are increasing, it means that initially the demand is low. So in the introduction stage demand is low, but as the word of mouth spreads that this is a good product, the sales will definitely increase in the growth stage. High cost, low sales. So sales are low, the product is costly. Advertisement and promotion is required, as we have seen that PLC, product life cycle, helps us to take certain decisions related to the aggressive marketing strategy. We have to monitor the initial sales in this case. Why? Because in the introduction stage we see that the sales are less. We have to see that how we can increase these sales, and what are the teething troubles, what are the problem areas associated with the product, that we need to iron out in order to reach the product into the, or in order to reach the maximum growth at the growth stage. So in the initial stage there are challenges, teething troubles are there, that we need to look at. Now this is a summary of the introduction phase. Sales are low, as is clear from the diagram. Costs are high per customer, because in a haste to launch the product quickly, we sometimes do not optimize the cost. So that cost optimization is done at a later stage, and that we will cover in our next lecture on value engineering, that initially once we have developed or designed a product, why there are unnecessary costs in that product, and how we can overcome those costs at a later stages of the product life cycle. So the costs initially are high per customer. Profits are negative, as we have seen in the diagram. Initially the growth profits become positive in the growth stage only, and marketing objectives are create product awareness and product trials. Now in the growth stage, this period is a time to improve the efficiency and product availability as well as service. So 3 points are here: efficiency, availability and service. So we have to ensure that if a customer goes to the market, our product must be available on the shelf. The efficiency of operations also must be good, because we have seen that the cost is higher in the introduction stage. So we have to keep a close tab on the cost of the product and how we can manage the cost so that the product is competitive in the market. So we have to improve the efficiency. Then the availability I have already highlighted, as well as the service should be good. Cost efficiency, time to market, pricing and discount policies are the major factors in gaining the customer confidence. So we have to focus on these points also. We have to focus on cost efficiency, time to market, price, it should be competitive pricing, and the discount policy. So 4 points further are added to the efficiency, availability and service. Increased customer awareness through marketing. Sales growth rate increases because of limited or no competition. So initially, once our product is new, it has been introduced in the market, people have come to know about this product. So in the growth stage, there is not much competition if it is a monopolistic type of market. So the product will definitely have a growth trajectory, and it will the sales will increase at a rapid rate. Revenue also increases, so that is not to mention that, because when the sales are increasing, the revenue earned will also increase. So growth phase, these are the, we can say, characteristics and objectives. Sales are rapidly increasing, cost per customer is average because we have focused on cost efficiency, profits are increasing, marketing objectives are maximize the market share by improving the customer awareness. Now the maturity stage, slightly red zone. In maturity stage, highest returns from the products are actualized. This period is the period of highest returns from the product. Sales are at its peak. Marketing cost of the product declines because in the introduction and the growth stage we have done aggressive marketing for improving the or for increasing the customer awareness, but at the maturity stage we know that the competition has set in now. There are other products also available, therefore we do not focus too much on the marketing. Ratio of revenue to cost is high. Sales growth are likely to be low. Now growth stage we have seen the sales are rapidly increasing, but at the maturity stage the sales become more or less stagnant, and competition is likely to be greater in the maturity stage, and we have to monitor the market changes and we have to adopt the new strategies in order to be, we can say, successful in the market, or in at least in order to sustain in the market. There is a famous saying that if you do not obsolete your product, you will be obsoleted from the market. So that decision we have to take, that we deliberately or intentionally should make our product obsolete and develop a strategy in which we come up with a new product which again enters into the growth stage after the introduction. So every company wants to be in the growth stage only. So the maturity phase, these are the characteristics. Sales are at their peak, costs low per customer, profits are high because the sales are highest. Marketing objectives are maximize the profits while defending the market share. So we have to put efforts to sustain in the market. Finally, the decline stage, the competitors enter the market with better product features, advanced technology, reduced prices. So lot of competition is there, so we have to see that how to manage the product. Sometimes there is such a technology shift, such a change in the technology that our product may automatically become obsolete. So the sales starts to decline, marketing cost of the product rises because now we are only spending the money on marketing, but we are not getting the returns out of the marketing endeavors or the marketing efforts that we are putting. Now we have to take a decision to withdraw. It may be dependent on the availability of new products and whether the fashion trends will come around again. So, if it is specific to a specific segment of industry, but in many cases we have to take a judicious decision that whether to continue with the product or we should focus on some other product or some other market segment where we can again be in the growth stage of the product life cycle, where the profits are also increasing and the company is making profit. So, with this we come to the end of today's session, that is session number 6 in our course on operations management, and we have started the week 2 discussion in which our focus will be on product design and development. Today's session was focused on product life cycle, and in next session our focus will be on value engineering. Thank you.